Now speaking, Bill Choi, Senior Vice President, Investor Relations and Strategic Finance. Zscaler held their third quarter fiscal year 2023 earnings conference call, and on the call were Chairman and CEO Jay Chaudhry and CFO Remo Canessa. All financial information mentioned in the call was presented on an adjusted non-GAAP basis, and a reconciliation of GAAP to non-GAAP measures was included in the earnings release. The call contained forward-looking statements regarding anticipated future revenue, calculated billings, operating performance, gross margin, operating expenses, operating income, net income, free cash flow, dollar-based net retention rate, future hiring decisions, remaining performance obligations, income taxes, earnings per share, customer response to products and market opportunity. Zscaler will be attending the Bank of America Global Tech Conference in San Francisco on June 7, Cantor Security and Infrastructure Conference on June 9, and hosting an investor briefing focused on latest innovations at Zenith Live Conference on June 15. Now speaking, Jay Chaudhry, Founder, Chairman, and Chief Executive Officer. Our AI/ML platform leverages this data to deliver better cybersecurity. We have more than 500 million unique domains in our database and are adding new domains every day. On top of that, we now have over 1 billion user identities and profiles that provide contextual information about users, devices, applications, and protocols to understand the user behavior. The company reported strong third-quarter results with all financial metrics above the high end of guidance. Revenue grew 46% year-over-year, while billings, current billings, and operating income more than doubled on a year-over-year basis. The company's consultative sales process has enabled it to close many large multi-year multi-product deals, including with 8 out of the 10 largest global financial services and diversified insurance companies outside of China, a Fortune 100 logistics company, and a Global 300 tech manufacturing company. Its Zero Trust Exchange provides better security and user experience while reducing cost and IT complexity compared to legacy networking and security. Its net retention rate is over 125%, and its Net Promoter Score is over 70. The company has 2 emerging product pillars, ZDX for digital user experience and Zscaler for workloads. These products make up a high teens % of new business, and the company closed a large SSE win for 450,000 users, and a Global 50 healthcare insurance company purchased ZIA Transformation Bundle plus ZDX and Advanced Data Protection Suite for 165,000 users. To leverage its AI/ML capabilities, the company acquired an AI/ML company and has over 500 million unique domains in its database and over 1 billion user identities. Now speaking, Remo Canessa, Chief Financial Officer. In Q3, Zscaler reported $419 million in revenue, up 46% year-over-year and 8% sequentially. Approximately 20% of total revenue was from ZPA product revenue, growing 66% year-over-year. Geographically, Americas represented 54%, EMEA was 31%, and APJ was 15%. Total calculated billings in Q3 grew 40% to $482 million, down 2% sequentially but better than normal seasonality. Current billings grew 44%. Remaining performance obligations, RPO, grew 36% to $3.023 billion, with the current RPO making up 50% of the total. Dollar-based net retention rate was over 125%, partly due to increased success selling bundles and faster upsells. 400 customers have greater than $1 million in ARR, up 39% from last year. 2,432 customers with greater than $100,000 in ARR. Gross margin of 80.2%, down from 80.6% year-over-year due to higher public cloud usage. Operating expenses increased 3% sequentially and 33% year-over-year to $272 million, primarily due to higher compensation expenses. Operating margin was 15.3%, up 600 basis points year-over-year. Free cash flow margin was 18%. Data center CapEx around the high single-digit % of revenue for the full year. Ended the quarter with over $1.97 billion in cash. For Q4, guidance is for revenue between $429 million to $431 million, reflecting a year-over-year growth of 35% to 36%, gross margins of approximately 80%, operating profit in the range of $69 million to $70 million, net other income of $13 million, income taxes of $6 million, and earnings per share of approximately 49 cents assuming 157 million fully diluted shares. For full year fiscal 2023, guidance is for revenue between $1.591 billion to $1.593 billion, or a year-over-year growth of approximately 46%, calculated billings in the range of $1.974 billion to $1.978 billion, or a year-over-year growth of 33% to 34%, Operating profit in the range of $224 million to $225 million, income taxes of $21 million, and earnings per share in the range of $1.63 to $1.64, assuming approximately 156 million fully diluted shares. Guidance assumes that new business will take longer to close due to the macro environment and a slightly lower close rate in Q4 compared to Q3. Operating margin is expected to expand by more than 400 basis points year over year. Deutsche Bank analyst Brad Zelnick inquired, Jay, could you discuss your strategy for the public sector, including federal, state and local government as well as international opportunities? Jay Chowdhury replied, thank you, Brad. Our investments in FedRAMP and StateRAMP certifications have enabled us to establish a strong presence in numerous states. We have 12 out of 15 federal agencies making use of our services, and we are seeing the full rollout begin with White House guidelines and certifications helping the process. We created the public sector vertical to cover both U.S. federal and SLED, and have a strong pipeline for Q4. We have also extended our services to West-friendly and NATO-friendly nations that require FedRAMP certifications. We look forward to sharing more successes in 2021 and beyond. RBC Capital Markets analyst Matt Hedberg inquired, Jay, could you please provide your thoughts on how generative AI may be a tailwind for growth 2 years from now? Are there any plans to introduce pricing or consumption models that will increase usage of LLMs in the future? Jay Chowdhury replied, yes, Matt. AI is being used in our current products to provide better threat protection and data protection. As AI/ML becomes more prevalent, we must work harder to protect against sophisticated attacks. To do this, companies need data scientists, large language models, and high-quality, large volumes of data. Zscaler has access to 300 billion logs per day and trillions of signals, which gives us an advantage over competitors. These new capabilities will enhance existing functionality and create upsell opportunities that expand our TAM. Wells Fargo securities analyst Andy Nowinski inquired, could you please provide an update on the timing of when ramp deals will shift from headwind to tailwind? Ramo Canessa replied, Andy, ramp deals have remained at the same percentage year over year. We anticipate ramp deals continuing going forward. Billings duration increased in Q3 this year to the midpoint of our 10 to 14-month range, resulting in a 44% increase in short-term billings compared to Q3 of last year. Truist securities analyst Joel Fishbein inquired, Ramo, could you provide some insight into the methodology you've employed to ensure that margin expansion doesn't come at the expense of growth? Ramo Canessa replied, at our Analyst Day a few years ago, we estimated the market size for our addressable market at $72 billion. Our sales revenue is $1.5 billion. We are seeing 6x penetration into this market and will continue to balance profitability and top-line growth with a focus on top-line growth. In Q3, we saw 600 basis points margin expansion and 400 basis points margin expansion for the full year, indicative of our model when top-line slows down. We feel well positioned to move forward and will continue to invest in order to capture the market. The current Street consensus for operating profitability in fiscal 24 is 15.5%, however we believe it's in the range of 15.5% to 16%, which provides us enough room to invest. Barclays analyst Saket Kalia inquired, Jay, is there any evidence that increased competition has had an impact on customer conversations? Jay Chowdhury replied, thank you, Saket. Regarding the Magic Quadrant, customers are the real judge, and I can explain 3 reasons why they view Zscaler as a leader. Firstly, they're voting for us by spending on Zscaler. Gartner's Peer Insights ratings show Zscaler is the only MQ leader in first place across 8 categories. Secondly, we have broadened our vision beyond SSE for users to include workloads, IoT and ZB2B. Lastly, customer feedback confirms our performance and engagement remains strong. Our NPS score sits at an impressive 80+. We'll keep executing to keep customers happy. MoffettNathanson analyst Sterling Audi inquired, could you provide us with an overview of when you hired for the go-to-market and customer success teams, the size of your sales force, and what the hiring outlook is for the future? Jay Chowdhury replied, in response to the question, I can say that we are focused on making sure that our go-to-market team and takeoff teams have the right personnel to help us push forward with new products. We did have to moderate hiring in light of the market downturn recently, but Ramo can provide more detail. Ramo Canessa replied, we're in good shape from a capacity perspective. We reduced our workforce at the end of Q2, prioritizing quota-carrying heads and R&D. We're hiring to take advantage of the huge market opportunity ahead of us. The actions we took in Q2 were to better position ourselves for future hires. Guggenheim Partners analyst John DiFucci inquired, what drove the strong quarterly performance despite the difficult business environment? Jay Chowdhury replied, this quarter was very successful for us. We saw strong growth in the Americas and APJ year over year. Last quarter, we mentioned that some of our larger deals were taking longer to close, but they weren't lost, and we were able to close a good amount of them. Our verticals were also well diversified, with federal, financial services, healthcare, and transportation performing well. We closed many deals over 100,000 users. Fundamentals are strong. Customers recognize the importance of cybersecurity and cost savings, which our solutions address effectively. We're one of the only companies in the space that deliver significant ROI because we eliminate point products. Even though it's a more difficult market, our foundation and pipeline remain solid. Ramo Canessa replied, our pipeline was strong across the board and our execution was excellent. We saw growth in all regions, with particularly strong results in the Americas and APJ. Our sales organization executed effectively on a global scale. Mega deals, defined as deals greater than $20 million, were not seen in this quarter. However, we did see one deal of $10 million. UBS analyst Roger Boyd inquired, Jay, how have the internal efforts you've made to provide CFO-ready business cases impacted your ability to control your own destiny and influence sales cycles? Jay Chowdhury replied, yes, the market has forced us to become more sophisticated. We're engaging C-level executives early in the cycle and refining our business value case for a CFO-ready presentation. Additionally, we've leveraged annual commit from cloud marketplaces, done ramp deals, and ensured customers are realizing maximum value. Our highly differentiated Zero Trust platform has been our North Star since day one, and our sales execution continues to improve. Canaccord Genuity analyst Mike Walkley inquired, Ramo, can you share the mix of new logo sales to upsells for fiscal 24? Is it still around 60 to 40 given the 6 times upsell opportunity? Ramo Canessa replied, net retention rate is something we don't guide to or focus on. Our mix this year is 40 to 60 between new and upsell customers, which are the primary drivers of total billings. We believe that billings is the best measure for Zscaler's performance, and at 125%, it is outstanding. Canaccord Genuity analyst Mike Walkley inquired, what drove the disconnect between the strong quarter results and feedback from the channel? Jay Chowdhury replied, I believe our business is strong and our customer engagements are very strong. Our differentiation is also very strong, but competitors are trying to mislead the market. We are focused on educating them and communicating our advantages. We have been able to turn on 20,000 users in 7 days with amazing results. When compared to our competitors, we are ahead in terms of offering a transformation solution. Our network architecture extends from the office to the cloud, and our AI/ML technology gives us an advantage over the competition due to our better data, private logs, and structured and unstructured data. This will enable us to gain further TAM and growth. Stifel Financial Corporation analyst Adam Borg inquired, could you provide insight into the mix of new customers that are taking Zscaler for users from the start, and how should we think about Zscaler for users within the installed base? Jay Chowdhury replied, thank you for your question. Our Zscaler for users bundle has experienced strong growth since its launch over a year ago. We have customers that choose either just ZIA or ZPA, but we are seeing more and more of them opting for the larger bundle, which eliminates the need for multiple point products. This is what we anticipated 2 to 3 years ago, and now it's becoming increasingly popular. Customers who fully adopt our platform can achieve 5x or 6x their current spend with us as they realize the value and ROI from the bundle. We are tracking well against these goals. Ramo Canessa replied, we've seen immense growth in our customer base over the past quarter, with more than 25% of them having purchased ZIA, ZPA, and ZDX. This demonstrates the traction we are achieving in the marketplace. Robert W. Baird & Company analyst Shrenik Kothari inquired, what were the main drivers of your better than normal seasonality and how did they impact your performance? Ramo Canessa replied, I agree with your assessment. Our success is due to our sales team's excellent execution. Jay Chowdhury replied, we've seen the environment become more challenging, but our differentiated product offerings and commitment to cost savings and better cybersecurity have enabled us to be successful. Our execution has been key to capitalizing on these advantages. Ramo Canessa replied, our customers recognize the significant ROI of simplifying their network and leveraging our inline cloud, multi-tenant architecture for users, workloads, and IoT, OT, and B2B. Zscaler is the pioneer in this field with 40% penetration into the Fortune 500 and 30% into the Global 2000. We have an average of 1 customer advisory board meeting per week, which is more frequent than the traditional annual meetings. Our customers consistently mention the strength and value of our products across the board. Jay Chowdhury replied, our switchboard services are mission critical for our customers and they need a proven vendor who can manage such a massive cloud. Our track record and experience in the market is becoming a key differentiator as customers look for a stable, long-term partner. Our financial stability also gives customers confidence that we will be here tomorrow and are a leader in this space. Evercore IC analyst Peter Levine inquired, can Jay provide insight into the complexity of our competitors' attempts to draw away customers, and has there been any attrition on that front? Additionally, Ramo, what can you share with us about the growth outlook for fiscal 24 and how much is macroeconomics impacting that thought process? Jay Chowdhury replied, every vendor has a core competency, and they excel in that area. When it comes to firewalls, CAS, CDNs, or DNSs, you need to invest time and resources to build up your expertise and be successful. Even if one tries to pivot into a new space, it's difficult, since the architecture and IP needed to do so can take years to develop. It's also not easy to make high gross margins like we have at Zscaler because we purpose-built our products. It takes a lot of traffic to deliver the kind of service we offer. We believe that gives us a big barrier to entry against competitors. We focus on innovation and our customers, and our top-line growth will be discussed at the next earnings call. Jefferies analyst Joe Gallo inquired, can you provide an update on F4Q billings and how it compares year over year? What other factors should be taken into account, such as close rates, renewals, and timing? Ramo Canessa replied, ramps in Q4 were not as strong as they were last year, with billings growth in that quarter at around 60%. We had a solid Q3, so the comparison is difficult. Jay Chowdhury replied, thank you for your interest in Zscaler. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Zenith Live in Vegas, and I'd like to extend my appreciation to our shareholders, customers, and partners. We'll be back next quarter with more updates.